And we're back once again here at the Pop Esports Masters 6th season League of Legends regular season. We're almost ready for Game 3 after a very exciting, yet ultimately disappointing game. Not because of the game, but simply because of the spectator, which had a slight bug, which banned us from watching the end of the game. But I hope we'll be going on with another exciting game. RelyOn Esports versus Snooze Esports.
Yeah, that will be a banger, and you could say El Clasico, because both are, of course, Luxembourgish organizations. So, what a time to be alive to have them both clashing it out now. And yeah, I'm really hyped to see, especially QG's team RelyOn. Kind of helped them a little bit here and there with like finding players and stuff. So it's cool to have him here in Division 1, and of course people like Wild Wolf, who I kind of managed to get to him, for example, the mid laner and stuff. So I'm really excited for this matchup against Snooze, who for a long time they were quote unquote like the dogs of like the top dogs of like the Benelux scene. And I mean, they played with their main team, of course, and ASLL 2 and 1 later on and stuff. But this team, like the academy team, was always a staple in the Benelux and Borg scene, and of course the post esports and pop esports masters. And this time they have still like got most of the same players, but they have some tough opponents. So we need to see if they can even make playoffs, or if they can even make playoffs probably, but offline event against Oat, against Wolfham, against Infernal Wolves. I think they have some tough matchups.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and maybe you can take a more in-depth look from both rosters, and we'll start off with RelyOn Esports. You've already mentioned some players, notably Wild Wolf in the mid lane. We also have, to me, a very familiar face, Dominator, whom I met back in October at the Summoner Stands event, where he also played. An overall very, very solid lineup that we have here.
Yeah, definitely. And Terminator and I believe the top laner, Freeporn, both played with QG and with RelyOn back in Division 2. So I think he kind of took like some of his former players and stuff. So kind of build it around them, and it's just cool to have them, and they are definitely a black sheep in the bunch. I think they can have high heights, but we need to see if they can beat Snooze today, because Snooze is definitely a tough opponent. And speaking about Snooze, probably we have those player pictures as well from them, and most faces are really familiar, or are really like well known, because you all saw them like on some offline event.
So essentially almost the same roster that they had last year at the finals, with some changes. We have Tim Shady coming in full time, although on the AD carry position. Frankie also did join them for the finals. Rakuzi has always been there. Kinetic and Yetun, who's subbing in. The main support is Chokes, by the way. So you have two players who also have a bit of a name in the Benelux scene from playing ESLOL. And the rest of the players having a huge name in Luxembourg, because they're some of the true OG players, and they do touch a bit on that in their interview. So I can't wait to see it, because there's some very funny things that they said there. It was great to have them. I might sound slightly biased right now. I won't be in game, but it's just, when you have these Luxembourgish players who've been playing in the scene, you've been watching them play League of Legends in the local tournament scene for like about almost 6 years. No, 6 years. It's really nice to see those familiar faces once again clash against some more refreshing faces here and there for the Luxembourgish scene. It's really nice to see that. Should be heading into the Champ Select soon. As you've mentioned, this sort of El Clasico of sorts between RelyOn Esports and Snooze Esports that we'll have here in this third game of tonight at the Pop Esports Master 6 season. Somebody just asked who won on what the Royal Family. It was game T. Royal Family did take the win. We didn't see the end of the match because the spectator decided to, I don't know, just crash out. I hope this won't happen for this game because I'm really excited to see it. And we are headed into the champ select here.
Yeah, RelyOn will be on blue side, Snooze on red side, and we already have some target buttons. Of course, the good old kinetic fiddlesticks. But yeah, also just a target button onto Wild Wolf with his Velkos being done. I mean, last time we saw some some blue side Skarner bans. This time, blue side did not ban Skarner, so at least something new. And now Snooze should think about Skarner ban, or maybe Skarner first pick by RelyOn. But no, that's probably the thing I would assume will happen. Red side should ban Skarner. And if that Corky's open, Victor's open, Mel is open, who knows? Wukong is open, in my opinion, still a strong jungler. We saw him 2 out of 2 times. And yeah, just plenty of power picks, so to say.
Yeah, will we see Mel for third time today? They do go for the Corky, which is open for the first time tonight as well. I think he was second ban essentially the 2 past games, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And Akamas plays his Corky. He plays him a lot in solo queue, so you should be really confident on him. But also, like, the Wukong Havant, like I said, Wukong probably the strongest jungler besides Skarner, in my opinion. So, would be cool to see him. But no, it will be Tim Shady on his chin in solo queue, most played. So, and I remember back then where Tim Shady was a jungler. So
yeah,
cool to have him here now on a ADC. I mean, that's something new for me. And there's the Wukong. So 3 out of 3 games, Wukong got picked.
Yep.
So my predictions at least is a little bit right.
And Kinetic, who funnily enough now plays jungle, considering he used to be AD carry, and he and Tim are brothers. So that's they just at some point they were at breakfast probably and were like, should we just switch roles, for competitive?
Maybe next week. Yeah, let's do it. Orianna Wukong against an unmobile ADC, a good combination, definitely a strong one. Nocturne has a decent matchup into Wukong if he tries to fear him and Wukong tries to get out with W. The fear goes through, so those lines, the fear lines, basically follow the real Wukong. And Hawaii now being picked up by Frankie, and Frankie for me, I just like him. He's just a favorite mid laner of mine. I casted him back then with Dynasty in the ESL LoL second division and stuff. And Frankie, my boy, if you hear it, I'm so glad that you are here. And hopefully you do a great performance on this way. But I mean, it's his most played solo queue champion, so he will be a great mid laner on this champion.
Yeah, I mean, we both know that just Frankie is always a staple in the mid lane. I mean, a very, very solid player all around. Especially with just mages. I remember him specifically for that. There was this Jace way back when in ESL that was terrifying. Just overall, a really frightening player.
Definitely.
Strong match for the mid lane. We'll see how White Wolf goes up against him, huh?
Yeah, and funny enough, if you just look at the bans, they banned Silas, and that's a really sneaky ban because there's already a mid laner, so why ban Silas? And that's exactly what Snooze asked themselves. They want to play Malphite probably, so we ban Malphite. And it would have worked if RelyOn would have just banned like something else and then the Silas. Then they could have gone for Malphite. But because they banned it first, it was kind of obvious that they want Malphite. So, yeah, sad. They kind of dumped it in draft. But it's totally fine. Yon gets banned from Rakuzi on the top lane, of course. And now I would assume they pick up the support and get Rakuzi last pick or something. That's at least my idea. But they can also try to play for bot lane, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Rekuzi, to me, still this sort of powerhouse type of player, in a sense. If you give him one of his strong picks, he's the type to just roll over the top lane and always be kind of flashy in that same way. A very, very strong player. So I think definitely a good call would be to play onto him, but they do seem to be a bit hesitant on what to go for here.
Yeah, kind of waiting to do something. I mean, there's always the option to just blind pick now, for example. As a solid blind, just blind pick any tank. But yeah, just doing nothing also works. It's a draft tool, so we probably get the information soon what pick it is. I would assume a support, but who knows? Hopefully, Rishi knows it better than us. And yeah, I mean, blinding on is fine. If it's an on into something, then there could always be a support Braum now coming from the side of Snooze, just blocking on ultimate, for example. But Braum usually is not too great with Jhin, of course. And there's Rakan. No? Alistair pick.
Apparently it was an Alistair pick, yeah. So for the bot lane, keeping the top lane last pick.
Yeah, makes sense. Just to give Rakuzi a good matchup. Alistair against Nocturne is fine. Nocturne was the only engaged so far, so just knocking him away definitely is a good option to just get your carries secured. And Fiora against Ornn. I mean, there's like a challenger Ornn OTP, Macron, something like that.
Macron, that's the French president. Didn't know he played League of Legends.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how this Ornn OTP is called, but basically he had like a big Ornn Bible, like on the internet, like a big 100-page document or something, where he just tells you everything about Ornn and everything about matchups. And then like one page is just Ben Fiora, like the whole page.
Oh.
So his most hated and worst matchup of Ornn. There's Fiora. Unlucky, I guess. So basically unplayable if the Fiora is a good player. Can always like W the knockup, for example. Can always W the ult, for example.
So many options.
Later on, you have just true damage against the Ornn, who would not even be tanky in the matchup. And like you get outscaled, you get out poked. It's just miserable. And even like the Q dash to dash like the knockup, or to dash like the Q damage to dash out of the W. So you can dodge so many stuff from Ornn. You can just it's really unpleasant. I mean, there are possibilities, especially like if the Ornn gets a great early game with ganks, with just if you're inting somehow, then he just gets too tanky in the first couple of items that he can actually fight Fiora. But if it's even after 1 or 2 items, it's basically over. So Fiora is just fine in the lane, and they have a huge win condition because of that. Just play around side lane. There's like the possibility with Nocturne that Nocturne can just try to play side lane, but you don't want to play into your Ornn, you don't want to play into a Fiora 1v1. So usually like playing 1v1 side lane is hard against a Nocturne because it could always be a 2v1 then. But with an Ornn, you don't really have a side laner. So we will probably just see hard engages. Ornn, Rakan, Orianna, Nocturne, running it down on Frankie, running it down on Tim Shady, just killing them in a team fight and then probably winning the team fight. So I really like the simplicity of this RelyOn draft. 2 good carries, hard engage, and I mean, it's QG,
it is
right?
QG's team.
It's QG's team. So probably the only thing, I mean, just imagine QG with like a clipboard. And like everybody thinks like the coach in the backline, he has so many informations. Like, but every page of this clipboard just
go.
Just go in, engage buttons. Like really, like every single line is just a synonym for engage. Like, go in, hard engage engage from the sidelines. Just there's no information. Just launch the missile. Let ultimate engage something
All
like
in.
it's
Wombo combo.
That's the only thing QG tells the player. So simple but effective, probably.
Yeah.
that's
Sometimes you
cool to
don't
see.
need fancy stuff. You just gotta have a few go buttons.
Yeah. And he already told me that his top laner is just the guy on side lane who just plays on and just goes for like weak side top laner basically, which is good to have. I mean, you don't need to win the side lane if you win the team fight, right? So, I mean, it will be still a tough task for him, I believe, to win against Rakuzi, but he don't need to win against Rakuzi. I mean, and that's the good thing about an Ornn. You are useful in any case. So, yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, but he is up against Rakuzi, who is a very solid Fiora player. As you've mentioned, like, Ornn's got all these, and like whatever his strong hard CCs are, which could save his hide, they're so obvious, they're so easy to counter for Fiora. So it's all going to be about, I think, it's going to be a lot of, is Rakuzi going to be able to now really grasp control on the top lane, use it to its fullest, or is the Ornn going to be able to play it safe enough to be able to dish out in the team fight, because that's where they're really going to shine.
Yeah.
With all those go buttons that they've got, which QG is super
Plenty.
proud of. I'm sure he's like smiling like this. He's like, yeah, they've got so many go buttons.
It's the draft I always wanted to see.
Yeah. Finally. It's just missing the Malphite.
yeah, probably what I wanted, but the side span just gave it away, just out of nowhere. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to see, but probably, and I mean, for me at least, this RelyOn team kind of goes in the whole as underdog, in my opinion, and just having simple draft like I had with Hitmonlee, just cheesing someone kind of helps, because if you get an early lead because of a cheese, you have better chances to win. If you have an easy comp, you have better chances to win because it's easier to execute. So that definitely helps those underdog teams to win a game, and I'm hyped to see those boys. I kind of had QG to build this lineup, so with that, I want to see them win, of course.
Not biased at all.
Not biased. You are biased for Snooze.
True.
I'm biased for RelyOn. I think that's fair.
This game we're gonna be biased, but for different teams, so it's fair, right? It cancels out.
Totally.
Minus and minus is plus, so we're good.
Yeah, we see some wards there. Corki actually going for this ward. I mean, he got they saw him with crossing the turret. So this ward basically allows them to know if the enemy team lane swaps, and because they did not lane swap, and even this ward did allows them to see the enemy team lane swapping or not. So both with smart wards and QG's team RelyOn actually with the lane swap, second good ward actually, and it makes sense. I mean, your Ornn is basically a weak side player anyway. Your Ornn plays Ornn, so he's a tank. He doesn't need resources. You just kill the Fiora, you just dive the Fiora, you just make it hard for her to scale. It's perfect. RelyOn executed a good strength of their team and trying to weaken a good strength of Snooze. So makes perfectly sense what they do there. And Rakuzi kinda disrespecting it, losing half of his health just by not respecting this lane swap, which makes it good for RelyOn. They cheese it out. They have an easy team comp with early cheese. Perfect.
I mean, who doesn't like cheese, right? It's great because Fripon also didn't take any risk. He's he knows he's alone, so he's not going to take any risk, and he's hard to kill either way still because it's an Ornn. Takes it easy. It probably doesn't change much for him compared to the Fiora lane, I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, for her, it's just... I mean, Fiora usually hasn't like the craziest early game anyway, because she has one of the craziest late games. So it's weakening her in the early game, especially now with a tower dive. She hopefully has W, but she doesn't, so she just gets killed. Well played there.
Yeah, beautifully executed from Royal Family. Going for the level 3 gang on that Nocturne while the Fiora still is level 1. Because as you said, with the counter it could have gone differently, but since she was still level 1, didn't go well. Now we have the 1v1 on the bot lane. Frippon against Team Shady, and Joke's a bit on the other side of the rock here. Unable to come help his AD carry, but he still manages to survive. Frippon decides to go in to maybe confirm the kill, but that might be a bit dangerous. He's getting really low. Flashes into the wall. Oh no, and that's the kill for Team Shady.
Too much cheese. It's sad to see that he dies there. He tried it, and I think it was even a good try because the support wasn't there. So why not trying to kill the ADC? But yeah, probably a little bit too much for him to handle. But it's totally fine. We still have the lane swap going on, so bot lane is again moving top lane after this little kill under the turret. And it's fascinating actually that we see like both weaker teams from the bunch lane swapping, cheesing. I mean, it's funny. And like the strong teams, quote unquote, don't go for the lane swap. I mean, that's crazy to see because lane swaps actually need some practice. They need some some coaching advice. It's really hard actually to play a perfect lane swap, to execute such a dive, for example, and stuff. But our two teams, Hitmonlee and RelyOn, just go for them like they are the top dogs. And that's actually quite interesting to see.
Yeah, now Snooze opting for the just swapping the or putting the support on top lane technically isn't really much of a swap. Recruzy at least isn't alone. We can see that they still respect that bot lane from RelyOn very much. Decide to not take any risks on the top lane. Now we have Dragon that has spawned. We have the Void Crabs also coming in very soon. First few objectives coming in. Both junglers on equal footing in terms of clearing speed. However, Fire Moustache does have that first blood here.
Yeah, so a little bit more gold for him. And the question is, can they play it out? Can they get more of a lead? At the moment, the lane swap, yeah, it's just working. I mean, they get the Fiora down. Just 15 CS. On the other side, Ornn in the 1v1 even gets some CS, so that's crazy to see. Now even helping this freeze in the mid lane for Frankie. So everything is equal except the two top laners, who kind of get starved a little bit, but Ornn less because the supporter is roaming. And yeah, works really well at the moment for RelyOn to just play about their strengths and hitting the weakness of Snooze. And now the Void Crabs gets started by Kinetic. He doesn't really has top lane prio, so it's maybe dangerous, but he has mid lane prio indeed. So they just try it. But now the bot lane is moving and they try to contest it.
Yeah, that they do. Tensions rising. We have a connection on the enemy spot. Dominator is the first to fall in this squaffle. And RelyOn does not instigate anything further. And they leave the rest of the grubs to Snooze.
Yeah, who needs top lane prio if you have bot lane prio? So, bot lane just moved. Ornn gets some CS, maybe even a plating. But he's an Ornn, so it's fine if he gets some resources. But it's probably not game winning, especially in a matchup later on against Fiora. And on the other side, Snooze just got 3 Void Crabs, which always helps, especially with Fiora. I mean, you have losing top lane at the moment. You have a losing Fiora, but she still got Void Crabs. That's kind of crazy because you wouldn't have believed that she could contest it, but they did. So Fiora gets even better in pushing right now. And they did not lose too much and even have 2 kills, right? On Jhin, on Team Shady. So at the moment it works out for Snooze, actually.
Yeah, definitely starting to take shape in this game. They're starting to get their footing. I think they might have probably been a bit disconcerted by that lane swap at the early game. Might have not expected it. Now Frankie coming into the top lane with his level 7 on Hui to defend against that push from the RelyOn bot lane. Still there. Drake is up. We can see Kinetic starting to rotate towards it and towards the bot lane. When Fire Mustache is on the top side with his Nocturne. Ulti is up.
But it's smart from the Alistar just to secure it. I really like it that he tries to secure it, and he actually went far back into the brush just to not show it.
Here comes the Paranoia, and here comes the tower dive. Very nice shockwave. That is a very well executed tower dive so far, and yeah, that second kill should not have happened because now it's just a 2-2, and in the meantime Kinetic was able to grab that Drake without any resistance, so Snooze in the end does come out with a bit more than RelyOn had bargained for.
Yeah, I know even Shady can connect to one more plating, so at least they trade platings top and mid. But yeah, Drake for basically a 2v2 kill, so it's good for Snooze. I believe that RelyOn got the feats of strength for the first 3 kills. Oh no! That was well played by Rakuzi, and now Frimpong probably dies in the 1v1.
Yeah. Especially since Kinetic is coming around the corner to make sure Rakuzi doesn't risk dying here.
Yeah, and that's so risky to trying to go for the Bolo against the Fiora. Just always the W, always a risk. And in the end, he just don't kill Rakuzi, and Rakuzi gets all the stacks and the true damage. And no, the bot lane is even probably winning for Rakuzi, so the top lane. I mean, they are sitting in the bot lane right now. Yeah, and now it's 5 kills to 3. But at least something there, still quite even in gold. So nothing is lost for RelyOn. But after this really strong start with the lane swap, with the first turret dive and stuff, they kind of lost their foot a little bit in the later minutes.
Gold more or less a tie between the two teams, but Snooze does have Void Grubs and Drake. Wise, neither team has one down.
Oh, they want to play Nocturne Orianna again, but Nocturne still has no ultimate. Oh no, now he has it.
Yeah, and he comes in on the mid lane. Shockwave does land onto 2 people. Lots of damage falling onto Team Shady, who gets really low on the turret. Is going to die ultimately. Terminator really low as well. Is the one to get the kill with Rakuzi's TP. Is going to end up dying as well. Now we have Ripon coming in from the bot lane. Rakuzi a bit in a tight spot. Is forced to extract here. Gets poked on quite a lot by Wild Wolf. But lunges over the wall to safety.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 again. Really well played coordination with Orianna, Nocturne, and Rakan just all diving forward, just instantly killing Tim Shady. And in the end, even the Alistar, because he dived the brush a little bit too deep, and then the double teleport. So they spent a lot of resources into the contest, and now they lose those 2 Void Grubs, 3 Void Grubs, but maybe can take a fight.
Yeah, maybe the counter engage. If Ripon getting a lot of damage as we follow up. In the meantime, Chokes was getting really far. Fire Massage on the fire here is gonna die from the Wukong, and didn't call. Trying to flee Frankie together with Chokes, looking for an angle. They find Purchase on the enemy AD carrier. Kans is able to get over the wall thanks to the W, and Terminator does push them away without dying, but they're still putting lots of pressure Snooze here.
Yeah, and it always seems that RelyOn kind of has a winning play, and in the end it's kind of even or even losing. Like with the tower dive top lane, sure they burst 2 down, but then lose 2, or in this time they get 2 kills but still lose 1, and in the aftermath they try to get the Void Grubs but lose a team fight. So they have the right ideas, they have the right plan, but somehow Snooze just gets out of there with a little bit more. And if we just look at the gold, Fiora is ahead, which is really bad for Frimpong, because he will losing over and over again on the sideline because of that. And the others are basically even, with Tim Shady being a little bit more ahead in the ADC matchup. So 2 big carries being ahead is a bad sign for RelyOn. And especially this Fiora. She will do a lot of work against Ornn, if Ornn, of course, will defend her. I mean, Wild Wolf can basically try to farm some waves against Fiora. He has always like the opportunity to just wave clear. But later on, probably just get doved by Fiora. He can always try to W the shockwave, and then there's no damage left for Fiora. And she has no mobility, so if she positions herself wrong, then Fiora can just run Orianna down. So at the moment, that's an option to just defend with Orianna, but later on, with a couple of items, Rakuzi will overwhelm her.
We have another engage coming in from the Ori Nocturne combo, but Snooze is quick to turn it around thanks to Jerks' engage. Yes, lots of damage is falling onto RelyOn. Terminator now under fire from the curtain call being channeled by Tim Shady. They're able to pick out Kinetic and get lots of damage on the 2 other carries of Snooze. Have to be careful. Frippon is the one now who is running for his life, but overall they are able to deal some nice damage to Snooze with that 1 kill. Their answer is really good, considering that they were in a 5v4 situation, Snooze, however.
Yeah, and like I said, they always have the right idea. Just going in, trying to kill Tim Shady. He doesn't die, but they at least get 1 kill. But then there's 1 kill for Snooze as well. And in the end, a full turret. And it's especially like the feats of strength turret. Like with that, Snooze got feats of strength. So it just wasn't worth for RelyOn, because the Fiora got so much on the sideline. And that will be a big problem. But because usually with split push against tank, if the tank just sits on the sideline, they lose everything. So they need to use the tank, in this case Ornn, to go for the engages, to go for the 4v5s, and to win the team fights with that, and then to force Fiora to a teleport play or to defend the base and stuff. Like, they need to force Fiora back from the turrets. But if this does not happen, then Fiora just gets so much on the side lane for the move of Ornn, and then it just gets worse. So we just saw the gold. I couldn't say something about that, but it's just bad at the moment for RelyOn, sadly, because of this Fiora, because those plays of RelyOn just don't give them too much. They just got 1 kill out of the Orianna Nocturne combo. 1 kill. And that's not enough at this moment.
Yeah, no, definitely not, because bit by bit, and even though it's bit by bit, small steps can make for a huge lead over time. Snooze is taking bites at this game and slowly working towards a larger and larger lead. Drake is up. Seems like RelyOn is intent on getting that one, not leaving a second Drake to Snooze and giving them this leeway. But Jokes decides to go for an engage here. Finds purchase onto Terminator, but doesn't lead to a kill. But we can see that the tension is rising. Drake is started by RelyOn, but we have Rakuzi behind it. Snooze, however, rotates for that Herald.
Yeah. And now Drake gets taken down by RelyOn, but of course also the Herald. So just a cross-map play, 1-for-1 again in terms of objective. So kind of worth for RelyOn, because they are in a weaker spot right now, but still a losing play because they lost the object.
Purchase on the bot lane with that paranoia. Rakuzi's trying to flash away. So far it's looking bad for him, however. Tries to get the return kill on Wild Wolf, but is not going to be able to take down the Orianna and gets shut down.
Yeah. I mean, he juked the Orianna ult, but in the end they still got him. So, well played by RelyOn. That was a good play. They just got 1 kill for nothing. But now probably cannot protect this mid lane turret because of the Herald. Has he a driver license? Yes, he does. And he just gets the turret for that. So 1 more in the books for Snooze.
One more in the books, indeed. They're taking it slow, but more or less securely. Playing it safe. 2 minutes until Atakan comes. This time around on the bot side, up to now today, it was always on the top side. But yeah, bot side, we did have a considerably long lane swap after all.
Yep. That is true. We have a 2k gold advantage for Snooze. And yeah, I know on a long lane, Fiora against Ornn. Probably there's no kill, so nothing to worry about. But yeah, it's. I mean, he has the hard steal now, so you can at least try to get tankier and tankier, but still with 0 stacks. So he wasn't in range for any auto attack right now. And usually going for an auto attack trade with Fiora will hurt a little bit. So he needs to find a good moment for that, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if Rakuzi just decided, I'm gonna lunge and hope he doesn't do anything, or if he missed the timing to do the lunger post combo or something. I looked a bit like he just jumped into it. The damage, though.
Yeah,
Oops.
I mean, first stack against the whole life. But I mean, he got 1 stack, right?
Yeah. Thank God he got a 1 stack.
But that's what I said. He needs to find one good moment for those hard steel stack, and this probably wasn't one because he just lost 200 or 2000 health or something. I mean, and now, I mean, if he just ults him under the turret and just tries to kill him, he needs to flash out, and then she probably gets the whole turret or something. So there's always the opportunity to just tower dive him at this point.
Yeah.
Like I said,
you were saying.
The snipe!
And he gets the kill with the ultimate. Unfortunately, Rakuzi did use his riposte a bit early here. Got a bit too much damage from the turret. That's good. That's really good for RelyOn. That gives some breathing room on the top lane.
Yeah, and another stack. He has now 2 stacks on the hard steel, and the solo bolo for him as well. The mess up doesn't get easier from this point, just harder. So maybe the last solo bolo from Ornn, who knows? It doesn't get easier. Drake is spawning in 1 minute, so hopefully one of those 2 teams can get it, because at the moment both has just 1 Drake, so we are a long way till the soul.
Yes, now it's gonna be there soon. 45 seconds. Snooze forced back here. RelyOn is gonna be able to take a proper footing around that objective.
Yeah, but still, Snooze has no control around the river, no wards. So RelyOn is playing it perfectly at the moment. Just having all the control, just seeing all the wards in the enemy jungle. So at the moment, it's tough to fight it for Snooze. There you can see the vision. So everything is dark, and that's really a good sign for RelyOn, because they can engage.
Here comes the Paranoia, gets Sonia's, but it's not enough. Frankie to survive. The rest of his team is able to collapse now with Kinetic Cyclone. They're able to pick up a kill on through Terminator. Here comes Ripper from behind, and Kinetic is getting changed to see. Here comes the curtain call to maybe finish up Fire Mustache now with Rakuzi in the backline. All in onto the Orianna, forced to flash over the wall back into the jungle. They get a very nice root out on Arkhams, who's trying to get away on his Squawky. Picks up the kill on Rakuzi. Maybe not. He's really low. Really low. He ends up dying. It's Tim Shady who picks up the kill onto the enemy AD carry, and it's a 3-4-2 in favor of Snooze. Yes, Kinetic now goes for that Drake.
Yeah, and that's so sad again. I mean, they find the engage, and it's the story of the game. RelyOn tries to go for a play. They have the right idea, but in the end, the execution is just not good enough. They engage onto a Sonia's member, so you can just press Sonia's on the Nocturne ult. And then in the end, they lose the team fight against Rakuzi's teleport and even get the Drake. So Snooze definitely in the driver's seat from now. And yeah, RelyOn, it's so sad to see that because they have the right ideas, they have the right engages, but something is not clicking for them. I mean, just look at Wild Wolf. He never dies. He ditches out a lot of damage, and even Akkam's just playing a really good game on the Scorky, but somehow not enough for them.
There is this element of Tim Shady always being in a safe spot, more or less, or even if he's a bit in danger, he's always able to extract himself and then get in a safe position, and from there come back in, usually with a curtain call or something. And I think that's one big issue, because they throw it all out right off the start, and then they don't have anything to get to Tim Shady, and he's just back there doing whole tons of damage with his ultimate. And I think they need to find a way of still getting to him in those stages, because there is also an Alistar that is a champion who's really good at healing. It's a tough situation, really.
Yeah, and here's the next problem for RelyOn. It's Atakan alive, and we have no Nocturne ultimate, so no Nocturne Orianna actually. And Atakan kinda gets started by Snooze, but now they're back off.
He from behind by Wild Wolf, but he's gonna get caught here by Snooze, who were on the way back, and he just dies. That's a shutdown money, the first death for him. In the meantime, Atakan is able to dish out further damage on RelyOn. Call of the Forge Guard is gonna go to the side. It's gonna be a smite fight around Atakan. Now with Jokes coming in, very nice WQ, and the wombo combo sits, lots of damage falling onto RelyOn. Fire Mustache dies, and with the jungler out of the way, it's a free Atakan for Snooze, who keep on going. And in the meantime, Rakuzi wasn't even there. He just cracked open the top inhib.
Yeah, what a guy. Just, yeah, my team will survive anyway.
Yeah.
And just going for the turrets. I mean, that's what a Fiora should do, and she does it. They get the Atakan, they get the winning team fight, and they get in top lane inhibitor. And now the bot lane tier 2 will probably fall as well. And yeah, RelyOn just, they have all the gold buttons in the world, but they don't have the gold to do that, to really engage. And it looks grim for them. I don't see a world where RelyOn gets back from the situation. I mean, now it's a free item Fiora, and she can just pressure bot lane. That really looks bad for RelyOn.
With that, a 7k gold lead coming in for Snooze now. They've really, if at first they were chipping away to get the lead, they've now carved the whole landscape of a lead for themselves. With this very simple plan, in a sense. You know, we said the go buttons is it's simple but usually efficient, and Snooze's plan seems very you know, fancy, but it's really simple, because you know, Rakuzi's just pushing. That's all he's doing with his Breaker, and the rest of the team is just playing normal League of Legends, and he's just playing his own minigame here on the bot lane. Works really well for them.
Yeah, and now he just goes to the turret.
He's just taking the turret. He's just like, I don't have an enemy. I'm just doing the turrets.
Yeah, and now you can even try to kill Dawn, actually.
Yeah. He's never going to be able to 1v1 him, because he's got that hull breaker. It's an easy 1v1. And sure, RelyOn is trying to deny Snooze from taking that Baron, but in the meantime, Rakuzi is taking another inhib, and just, he's going to finish the game at that point. We have the Engage here with the Paranoia, and they do find purchase. We can see once again, Tim Shady is just extracting himself, while the rest of his team is pushing them away, and that looks like an ace for Snooze. What is going to finish first, the team fight or the game? Because Rakuzi is chipping at the Nexus, and he finishes the game before they get the ace.
What a performance by Rakuzi. Dying in the 1v1 against Ornn, but still being the match winner. Yeah, what a game. And
insane. You know, you have base races. Usually it's the two teams racing against each other. And this time we saw Snooze just racing against each other within their team. It was like Rakuzi and the rest of the team. Who's going to finish first? And, wow. Really well played by Snooze.
Yeah. And it hurts to see RelyOn struggling, because it looked so good. The lane swap, the dive, like every single Nocturne Oriana engaged, the combo worked, but it was just not enough damage, and it was really a problem because of Wukong and Alistar. Just every single engage got kind of survived by the barrier, by the flashes, even by the defensive item builds from Alistar. He blocked a lot of damage there, and then especially Kinetic on this Wukong just bought so much time with the ultimates in the backline. They couldn't really get to Team Shady in the team fights. There was just too much disengage basically against this Nocturne Ori comp. So it looked like they have the perfect team comp, and somehow they didn't snowball. And then it was just Snooze. But it was an impressive showing. I mean, I would have not expected that from RelyOn. I'm really 100% telling the truth. I did not expect something like this. So I'm so hyped to see them against the big boys.
I mean, it was close until it wasn't. So it looked at any time like could still shift in RelyOn's favor until that one crucial moment where it really shifted at once. A beautiful game both teams gave to us. But we are heading towards the end of this first day of the 6th season of the Pop Esports Masters. Next up, we will have Infernal Wolves Fenrir, which played the first match, going up against Red Watt, who played the second match. Two teams coming in from the qualifiers to end the evening, and we will see that in a bit after a short break.